UK pushes back at Netanyahu and says two-state model can provide lasting peace.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's opposition to the establishment of a Palestinian state is disappointing. Number 10 has. The UK government has vowed to continue with its support for a two-state solution in the Middle East for as long as it takes, in the face of Israel's premier saying he would not compromise on Tel Aviv control over Palestinian territories. Mr. Netanyahu's stance also puts him at odds with the US, Israel's most powerful and closest ally. Rishi Sunak and Joe Biden spoke on Monday evening, with the two leaders agreeing that a two-state solution which allows Israelis and Palestinians to live in peace and security is more important than ever. Right-wing leader Mr. Netanyahu doubled down on his rejection of Palestinian sovereignty as part of any post-war plan, saying his country needs full security control over the Palestinian territories when the Israel-Hamas conflict is over. He wrote on X, formerly Twitter, late on Saturday, "I will not compromise on full Israeli security control over the entire area west of Jordan, and this is contrary to a Palestinian state." The remarks, rebuked by UK Defence Secretary Grant Shapps and senior Labour Party figures, deepened a public rift with the US, which has argued a two-state solution is essential for long-term stability. Asked about the Israeli leader's stance, Prime Minister Mr. Sunak's official spokesman told reporters on Monday, "It is disappointing to hear this from the Israeli Prime Minister. The UK's position remains that a two-state solution with a viable and sovereign Palestinian state living alongside a safe and secure Israel is the best route to lasting peace. Clearly, there will be a long road to recovery and lasting security in the occupied Palestinian territories and Israel. We will continue our long-term support for a two-state solution for as long as it takes." Prime Minister's official spokesman. "But we will continue our long-term support for a two-state solution for as long as it takes." Downing Street said Mr. Sunak used the call to stress that supporting Israel in its efforts to defeat the threat from Hamas does not detract from the need for the IDF to take greater care to protect civilians and operate within international humanitarian law. It comes amid concern internationally about Israel's conduct of the war and the ever-growing number of civilian casualties. The current war between Israel and Hamas, the fifth and by far the deadliest, began when Palestinian militants broke through Israel's defenses and rampaged through several nearby communities, killing some 1,200 people, and taking around 250 people hostage. Israel's offensive has killed at least 25,105 Palestinians in Gaza and wounded more than 60,000, according to the health ministry in the Hamas-ruled territory. The two men resolved to continue working together to encourage further humanitarian pauses to get hostages out of Gaza and allow more aid to enter, Number 10 said. The pair also discussed how the attacks in the Red Sea, agreeing to continue efforts alongside international partners to deter and disrupt those attacks. The U.S. has launched 7 rounds of airstrikes on Houthi military sites in recent days, targeting air bases under the rebels' control and suspected missile launch sites. On Monday afternoon, Mr. Sunak also met family members of Israeli hostages who are still being held in Gaza following Hamas's raids on October 7. Asked if Mr. Sunak had given a message to hostages' families at an event organized by the Conservative Friends of Israel, the PM's spokesman said, "Our message continues to be one of support for the families going through unimaginable pain and suffering, both those who still have hostages held by Hamas and those who have had them returned. We have a clear message for Hamas that they can return these hostages at any moment, and we would continue to urge them to do so.